Hello friends, welcome back. So we have seen so far the types of VLAN in our previous videos. So we have seen so far default VLAN, management VLAN, data VLAN, and then voice VLAN, and also we have seen native VLAN. So we know now how to configure these VLANs on your layer 2 network. So right now in this video we are going to see what do you mean by inter-VLAN communication. So regarding inter-VLAN communication, we need to check in this diagram, in this topology. So you can see multiple VLANs across these building. Let's say you have a data finance VLAN here, and here also you have a data finance VLAN with one PC on the right side. So if they want to communicate each other, they will be able to communicate as long as they belong to the same VLAN across this layer 2 network. Similarly, this data HR VLAN, which is 1.1.1.11 on the left side, can communicate with the 1.1.1.12 of data HR VLAN PC VLAN system will be communicated. So these two these two PCs are belong to the same VLAN, which is VLAN 20. So within the VLAN, they are able to communicate. What if the HR VLAN 1.1.1.11 on the left side wants to communicate with data finance VLAN system, that is 1.1.1.21, so which is on the other VLAN? So it is not possible in this layer 2 network. That's because they are in a different VLAN, which is, in other words, they are in a different network altogether, or different subnets, I would say. So as we have seen, what is VLAN? VLAN is a subnet or a single broadcast domain. So they all belong to different broadcast domain. That's why we may not be we will not be able to communicate from this data HR system to this data finance system. So in order to communicate, we need inter-VLAN communication, which requires a layer 3 device. That's what we are going to see. How do we achieve this using a layer 3 device, introducing into this layer 2 network and configuring them. Let's move on. So I'm going to use this lab topology. I've already connected these devices, so you can see the switch, show IP interface, brief. So these three interfaces are connected on all these PCs. So I'm going to use this PC as data VLAN PC, and this is as data VLAN 20, finance VLAN, and this is as HR VLAN. So 10, 20, 30 respectively. So we are going to use a router. Let's say we are going to use a router called 2911 over here, and then we are going to connect it. So let's say we are going to connect fast Ethernet 4 to this interface GI0/1. Let's begin. So now what we need to do, so we are going to communicate between these three PCs each other. So because they belong to each PCs or belong to three different VLANs. So how do we do? So we need to go to the router first, and then show IP interface brief, show IP interface brief. So you can see these interfaces. Interface GI0/1 is our interface. So this interface connecting the router and the switch should be a trunk link, because so all these VLANs should communicate to this layer 3 device in order to communicate themselves. So this layer 3 device is going to help communicate these is going to help each PCs to communicate with other PCs here. So because they belong to the different VLAN. So how? So for each VLAN we need to dedicate a separate interface, sub interface towards this router, so that they can be carried across this trunk link, and the router will process it and sends it via the same trunk link and reach the respective destined VLAN. So we need a sub interface to do this process on this router to complete the inter-VLAN routing. Let's do that. So interface GI0/1.10 will be the VLAN 10 interface, sub interfaces, and then we can give encapsulation .1q and then assign 10, and then assign IP address. Let's assign IP address for VLAN 10 as 10.10.10.1, 255.255.255.0. So this IP address should be the gateway for that VLAN 10 network, and then give no shut. Similarly, let's configure other interfaces, sub interfaces, gi0/1.20, and then give encapsulation 20, and then IP address 20.20.20. That's it, no shut. Similarly, interface gi0/1.30 encapsulation .1q30. Sorry, this is typo, no, 30, and then IP address 30.30.30.1 255.255.255.0, and then no shut. So now you can see show IP interface brief. You have configured these many interfaces. So let's go to the switch and make this corresponding interface port as the trunk port. So fast Ethernet 0/4 configuration interpose FA0/4 switch port mode trunk, and then switch port trunk allowed VLAN. So we are going to allow VLANs 10, 20, 30. Let's give a range of 1 to 50 as of now. Then give no shut. That's it, and save it. Go to the router and then configure interface gi0/1 no shut. So all of them will be up now. So this will be processed and this link will be up in few minutes. So but now let's say you have only one PC in this 10 VLAN. What if you have multiple PCs? You have to assign IP address manually for each and every PC, which will be tedious. So in order to acquire automatically IP address for this network, you can make this router, layer 3 router, as a DHCP server. So let's configure the DHCP as well for each and every VLAN. So we need to configure a pool, separate pool for each VLANs, for VLAN 10, 20 and 30. So that's what we are going to configure. Just go to config mode, IP DHCP, and then question mark IP DHCP pool, and then you have to give the pool name as data for VLAN 10, and then default router should be 10.10.10.1, and then the network should be 10.10.10.0 as I said, with the subnet mask /24. Okay, that's it. Exit, and then similarly give a DHCP pool for finance, and it's going to be default router 20.20.20.1, and the network would be 20.20.20.0 with the subnet mask /24. Similarly, create a DHCP pool for HR, and then default router should be 30.30.30.1, and network should be 30.30.30.0 with the subnet mask /24. That's it. So you can see now we have configured 3 DHCP pool for each VLAN correspondingly, that is for 10 VLAN, 20 VLAN and 30 VLAN, and also we have configured the sub interfaces for each and every VLAN to transfer the traffic across the trunk link. So now all the ports are up, you can see. So let's go to the PC, and then in this system you are going to keep DHCP. It will acquire an IP address automatically. Let's wait for some time. Show IP interface brief. So all the ports are up. Let's copy it and just go back to this thing. And go to configuration mode. Interface, we have missed one more part. We need to configure these interfaces, fast Ethernet 1, all the connected VLAN ports should be configured with the access mode. So interface FA0/1 switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 10, no shut. Similarly, interface FA0/2 should be switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20 no shut. Similarly, interface FA0/3 switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 30 no shut. So you have noticed the VLANs were not created. So as we configure the interface, associated interface for this VLAN, the VLANs are configured on the spot. This looks good, right? So that's the one of the feature of the Cisco device. So if you go ahead and see show VLAN brief, you have seen the 3 created VLANs and the assigned ports. Let's fix this name first to identify each VLANs. Just go to config mode and then VLAN 10 name data, VLAN 20 name finance, VLAN 30 name HR. So now if you see show VLAN brief, you will be able to see the corresponding VLAN names. So we have configured so far the DHCP, all the interfaces, including the trunk interface connecting the router, which is going to act as a layer 3 device to achieve the Inter-VLAN communication, as well as it is going to serve as a DHCP server for all the VLANs, associated VLANs. And then we have configured DHCP pool in that server. You can see that in the router. Sorry, show run. So you can see the DHCP pool for each and every VLANs, and then we have configured the sub interface for each and every, dedicated to each and every VLAN correspondingly. So let's check whether we have acquired the IP address on the PC1 for data VLAN. You can see 10.10.10.2 has been assigned, and if you see IP config, you will see the gateway as well. Let's try to ping the gateway. It will be able to ping. So now our goal is to achieve the inter-VLAN communication. From this PC we are going to ping the other PC, let's say the finance PC. So if you see the finance PC, it would have acquired the IP address. When you go to DHCP, it will acquire 20.20.2. You can see that. So let's go ahead and ping from the data PC, ping 20.20.20.2, which is the IP assigned for this device. This is IP config. So you can see 20.20.2. So it will be pingable. So we can see the VLAN 10 PC is able to ping 20 network PC, which is on the different VLAN, that is on the finance VLAN. So this is how you can communicate between VLANs using the inter-VLAN concept by introducing a layer 3 device and configure it as a DHCP server, as well as connected to the trunk link in order to serve the DHCP pool, as well as to serve the inter-VLAN communication. So I hope this video is useful to you, and let's see what do you mean by inter-VLAN communication using a layer 3 device in our upcoming video. Thank you so much for listening.